AMC did something rather unique and drastic a day or two ago, depending on when this video goes up. They have furloughed their entire staff, and this includes their CEO. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your failed journalist. And this is kind of surreal. Now, for those of you who don't know what the difference between a furlough is, it's not being laid off. Furlough is where basically you are put on an extended leave of time with the intention that you are going to be coming back to work. That means like, hey, this furlough might last months, or heck, you might have so many days off. You might work somewhere between 0 to 2 days a week or something like that. And you still have a job. It's here for when you come back, but you're not working now and you're not getting paid for this time off. Furloughs can be a little tricky because it's usually done to save the company, I remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger did this for California, the state money because of financial crises, which I think AMC is definitely in a financial bind. You know, they've got no money coming in, which is interesting because they have a digital distribution service with their AMC On Demand. So you'd think they'd have something coming in, but apparently not. But the theaters are all closed, and they're not selling food or tickets, or the AMC subscriptions are on pause. So what are they going to do? They have no money, very, very, very little money coming in, and a lot of money going out. As a result, people are getting furloughed, including the CEO. And they're doing this, so, as they put it in their statement, so that they have cash so that they can return when it's time for theaters to open. They're looking at the long term. But the question does remain, how much trouble are they in? Well, who knows for sure? I think personally they will be fine. But here's the bigger question. Because one of the things that they have stated is that they need money from a stimulus package. Because, hey, again, look, theaters are closed, no movies are showing, not selling any popcorn, none of that stuff, but they still have to pay the landlords the rent. And, well, they did have some staff. That staff is taking a pay cut. That will help a lot. But will they get bailed out by the stimulus package? Well, here, according to Business Insider, they actually are optimistic that they will be bailed out. According to the National Association of Theater Owners, which is NATO, they are optimistic that the stimulus package will aid struggling movie theaters and that they'll reopen once these C virus concerns dissipate. NATO said in a statement, with this aid, movie theaters can get through this crisis confident in being able to reopen, knowing their vital, trained workforce is able to weather this pandemic and have jobs waiting for them when it is safe to open. Included in the bill are provisions that could benefit theaters, including a $454 billion loan guarantee for struggling business, deferral of payroll taxes, tax credits to keep employees on payroll despite being closed, and expanded unemployment benefits. Theater employees are already struggling because of the shutdown. Now, we're talking about all the theaters. We're talking about Alamo Drafthouse. We're talking about AMC. We're talking about Cinemark. We're talking about Regal. There's some mom and pop theaters in there as well. Now, some people are asking, will the government give them money? Because the way the stimulus package works is once they pass this thing, then the government basically decides who gets to take this money. Some people have said it's the government deciding who gets to live and who gets to die. I don't necessarily see it that way, but I understand why people do. Because here's the thing, everyone is hurting right now, but the big question right now that the government has to decide is which of these businesses are hurting more so than others. For example, some Hollywood studios, everyone comes looking for a bailout. Everybody comes looking for a bailout. And you know this if you're watching my Apptrepreneur channel. But like the Hollywood studio systems, like Disney and Warner and CBS and, actually Comcast, I should say, NBC Comcast. All these companies did go to Congress saying, hey, we need a bailout because we can't release these movies and thus we are being affected. And from what I understand, Congress looked at some of those studios and said, frankly, you're going to be okay. Like, you've got a lot of money in the bank. You will have product to sell afterwards. You still have people working. Yeah, some movie productions have shut down for a temporary time being, but you're not in a super dire strait. You will hurt for a while, but you will survive. Now, if they look at movie theaters are in dire situation. They had razor thin margins to begin with. They are bleeding money. Their employees have been furloughed indefinitely for the most part. And here's the thing: if the theaters go under, you're talking about a couple 100,000 jobs that are lost. It's kind of crazy to think about that, but movie theaters employ over 200,000 people in the nation, and all of them right now currently aren't working for the most part, including the CEO. So what will the government look at that and say that that's not worthy of a bailout because the movie theater isn't an essential business? I would argue movies are essential. I think movies give us hope. I think they bring people together. Uh, I think people need to be entertained, especially during hard times. It's actually kind of sad right now because during times of crisis, movie theaters were there for people. They were there for them during the Great Depression, where they could, as one executive, studio executive, I should say, told Shirley Temple, people come in and they pay 5 cents to see your movie, and their worries in the world go away for 2 hours. And movie theaters were there for us during World War II and 9/11, and I'm sure they would be with us for us now. The problem is, of course, that because of what's going on, we just can't be together. So that's why the theaters are closed. But what are people doing at home? They're watching Netflix. They're streaming Disney Plus. They're buying movies digitally early, like The Invisible Man and Onward, and in a few days, Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't think people really want movie theaters to go away. Some people do, and I'm actually going to make a video about that. But I think the government will probably see a movie theater as something that, yeah, we should save them. We should give them a little bit of money because here's what they need. I don't think the movie theaters need like a ton of that money, all things considered, considering no one's working. What they need, I believe, is enough money to keep their leases for the next few months, and maybe a little bit of money to get some food for when they reopen. Comparatively speaking, in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to require a whole lot. I mean, compared to what other people are getting, maybe they get 5 to 10 million, something like that, and that's enough to keep the theaters at bay. They can pay the landlords the rent. Heck, maybe they can even get shrewd with the landlords and make a deal like, hey, we'll pay the rent up front if you'll give us this discount because we're all hurting a little bit. I don't know how this is exactly going to work, but I think the movie theaters will get saved. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I am looking forward to going back to them when they reopen. I'm looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman in either IMAX 3D or 4DX, whichever one's available. I'm looking forward to all of that. There are a lot of naysayers out there who are talking about how this is the end of the movie theaters, that this is going to accelerate it. I don't think that's true. I'm going to make a separate video explaining why that's true, and I'm also going to be responding to several YouTubers who feel that this is the end of the theaters. I'm going to explain exactly why I feel they are incorrect in their assessment. However, that is for another video. In the meantime, AMC is doing what they can to survive, and I believe that they will get their stimulus money. NATO certainly seems to think so, but I'm now going to ask you, what do you think? Do you think they're going to get their stimulus checks, or do you think the government's going to let the theaters go out to dry? Like, hey, we're watching Netflix, we don't see how this is necessary, even though that would be putting a couple 100,000 jobs out on the line. I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.